Welcome back to Anchored Life with Kaale. Today we are talking about adjusting to being a new mom. It is a huge life transition going from having no kids to all of a sudden being a mom, whether you're having a baby or you're adopting older kids, whatever the circumstance is. It's a huge life transition and I want to encourage you guys because this is a really amazing time of life and I am no expert on parenting. I just have one 11-month-old daughter at the time of this filming, so I'm still a rookie myself. But since I have recently gone through a lot of these things with being a new mom, I thought I could share some of the things that I've learned and picked up along the way to encourage you guys in your season. It's 11:30 p.m. I'm exhausted and trying to get my 3-month-old daughter to bed. She's a poopy diaper, so I change it, I set her in her crib, and I go wash my hands to return to swaddle her, but instead I found that while I was washing my hands, she pooped again. So I take her, change her diaper, set her in her crib again, go to the bathroom, go wash my hands, come back, yes, she has pooped again. So I think if I remember correctly, that happened a couple more times. And you might be thinking, well, maybe you should have just waited to change her diaper when she was done pooping. And you're right, that would have made more sense probably, but I just wanted to go to bed. And at the time, the only thing in the way of me going to bed was this 14-pound pooping machine. In some ways, that kind of summarizes what it feels like to be a new parent. You are tired and you feel like you're constantly changing diapers. But that is not all there is to being a parent, and it is not forever. It's not all in that you have this amazing little person that you get to spend time with and watch them grow and develop, and they're so cute and you can snuggle them. And it's not forever in that the season is actually so short, even if it does not feel like it at the time, because I am already shocked that I do not have a tiny little baby anymore. My baby is almost 1 year old and this year has gone by so fast, even though some days it does not feel fast at all, but overall, I promise you, it goes by so fast. Back in the summer, one of our family members had a baby when Sophie was about 5 months old. And so we got to meet this little baby. She was 3 days old, and already when my baby was 5 months old, which is still pretty little, I remember being so shocked at just how tiny this little person was in my arms, and comparing her to the size that Sophie was at the time. I'm like, oh my goodness, like Sophie has grown so much in 5 months, and now she's over 11 months. I tell you this story just to say that this season goes by so fast when your kids are little. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel that way. And even though you know that your kids are only going to be little for a short amount of time, how are you supposed to keep going when you just feel so tired and you maybe feel like you're losing yourself? How are you supposed to take advantage of what you know will be such a short time when it doesn't feel that way? I want to give you 3 things to remember in this time so that you have some encouragement for the moment. My first tip to adjusting to being a new mom is to accept help and don't feel guilty about it. When Sophie was 4 days old, we had to take her back to the children's hospital for dehydration, even though at the time we didn't know that's what it was. They were ruling out meningitis, which was super scary and overwhelming for first-time parents, and especially I just had given birth a couple days before. I was still too sore to stand up for any amount of time. It was just such a challenging and hard experience. But the people in our lives just rallied around us so amazingly, and I'm so thankful for them. We had people praying for us, friends brought us meals while we were at the hospital, our parents spent a couple nights at the hospital with Sophie so that we could come home and get a little sleep and shower, and they honestly made it possible for us to make it through that experience, and I'm so thankful for them. But I needed to accept the help. When the people were offering me to help, I needed to actually say yes, thank you. It can be really hard to accept help though sometimes. My one friend said that she feels like other people are more deserving of help than she is. She doesn't want to take that away from them. Or maybe you don't want to appear needy, or you want to have this strong appearance that you're independent and you don't need help. or maybe you don't want to feel like you have to owe someone. If they help you with something, you might feel like you have to repay them. Whatever it is, it can be really hard to just let someone help you. For our situation, when Sophie was hospitalized, we were desperate and we needed that help. So there, for me, wasn't really an option to say no. But maybe you're in a less critical situation. Maybe you're newly at home after having your baby and things are going okay as far as having a new baby goes. And maybe a friend wants to drop off some food and you feel like, well, I don't need them to drop food off. We could get by without. Don't try to get by without. Just accept the meal. Say thank you. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but for me, I feel like when I have a friend who's in need and I'm able to help them in some way, it makes me feel good. And it helps me to feel closer to them, like I'm privileged to be allowed into the inner part of my friend's life where not everyone's allowed to see, and it helps draw us closer together. I acknowledge that there are a lot of new parents that don't have that same great support system around them that we did. Whether you just moved to a new place and don't know anyone yet, or whatever the circumstances is, there isn't always a group of people offering you help. But if there is, take it. And if you feel guilty about accepting someone's help, just stop for a moment, acknowledge that thought that you feel guilty, think about why you feel guilty, and then let it go. You've dealt with it, you can move on. My second tip for adjusting to being a new parent is to take a little bit of time to do something that makes you feel like you. When you're a new parent and your new child needs everything done for them, it can feel like who you were and who you are gets lost in the monotony of changing diapers and warming up bottles and doing laundry and making food, all these things. What you used to be able to do every day is going to be different now, and it can sometimes feel like we are lost in all that. Try and do something even for just a couple minutes each day that makes you feel like yourself. You might have to ask for help with this, for someone to watch your child while you do this. See point number 1. But make sure that you're doing something every day for yourself, something that excites you and energizes you and just makes you feel more normal. I love being able to take a shower without feeling rushed or like I have to entertain a child while I'm taking a shower. So if someone's around and can watch her, I love just having a moment to myself and my thoughts are my own, and a little bit of solitude is great without worrying that Sophie's gonna finish her cracker before I'm done showering and start fussing. Exercise has always been that one thing for me that's also makes me feel like myself. So since I've become a mom, I try to get my daily exercise in, and even though it can be hard because Sophie's distracting me and wants all my attention, it's still something that is good for my health, and I feel like I'm doing it for myself. My third tip for adjusting to being a new mom is to let go of this ideal of being perfect. Your nursery, or your house for that matter, does not have to look like it just came off of Pinterest. Your body does not have to be perfect and look like you were never pregnant if you were, because you were pregnant and you birthed this amazing little human, and your body is going to be different now, but it can still be really good. But it doesn't have to be perfect. And pregnancy or not, your body never had to be perfect, okay? All these things about perfection, I am preaching to myself too. Your baby can be unhappy sometimes and still be a healthy, well-adjusted kid. Letting your child overcome these age-appropriate developmental challenges is going to make them a stronger person. For example, letting your baby self-soothe and cry a little bit in their crib for about 5 minutes before going in there to helping them. This is just going to strengthen them and prepare them for the real world where there are challenges and they need to have resilience and problem-solving skills. And I'll be the first to admit, it is so hard to see my baby crying and upset, and I just want to jump in and make everything easy and perfect for her all the time. And sometimes I do, but I'm trying not to, because that is not going to help prepare her for the real world. Letting go of perfection has been a bit of a journey for me the last couple of years, even before I was a mom. I've always felt that having a perfectly clean house and everything exactly the way I want it to be just helps me feel in control and calm, everything's good. but we live here. It does not stay perfect for long after I clean it. And so I was talking to my counselor about this one time, and she just reminded me that my good enough needs to be good enough. Especially now when I have more responsibilities in my life, I don't have the time to be constantly cleaning my house and putting everything back in order and keeping it perfect, right? Like, I do what I can, and that needs to be good enough, and I have to remind myself of that. Especially now with Sophie, a little more mobile, she's getting into everything, pulling all the books off the bookshelf. So if I kept myself to the same standard of cleanliness that I had before, I would just drive myself crazy and I would miss these important moments with my daughter. So I've had to learn to let go a little bit, and I'm still working on it, but I'm happy to report that I've made a lot of progress in this area. So Mama, I want to remind you that you do not have to strive to be a super mom with this perfect house, perfect meals, perfectly behaved children, and kids wearing all these designer coordinated outfits, or even just a matching top with pants, if we're going to be honest. That's hard sometimes. You are enough for your kids just by being yourself and loving on them. And whether you are preparing to be a new mom or you are currently in this season of being a new mom, do your best. Yes, do your best, but then let that good enough be good enough. Long before I was a mom, I would ask people who were parents, what is so great about being a parent? Like, why did you have kids, and are you glad you had kids? Because often you hear people complaining all the time about their kids. Sometimes we just need to get that off our chest. But also I wanted to know, why do people have kids if it's all bad stuff? Like, what's the good stuff about having kids? So I just want to list off a few quick things that I thought of on the top of my head to remind you what are good things about being a parent. If you're the new mom of a baby, some of the good things are that everyone is enamored with your child because they are just so cute and little. You get baby cuddles, baby clothes. They are so cute, especially little socks. I just love them. And you have this innocent little person who is just a fresh start. And if you're the new parent of an older child, some of the good things are that you have this person who is growing and developing. You can teach them so many things and watch their personalities just flourish. And they just add so much life to your day and excitement. And there's not going to be a dull moment while your child is around. Either way, being a parent connects you in with other parents as you bond over these shared experiences, and helps you to meet other people that you might not have met before now that you're in different circles. So there's a lot of benefits to being a parent. Those are just some of the first few ones that I thought of. I would love to keep this list going, so let me know down in the comments, what are some things that you love about being a parent? What is so good about having kids? Hopefully this video has encouraged you if you're a new mom or soon to be a new mom. And if it has been helpful, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. I release new helpful videos each week. See you soon.